Hello and welcome to AFL Podcasts, the home of objective, up-to-date and independent reporting on Turkey. Don't forget to follow our reports through social media, on aflnews.com or through our mobile app. Let's get started.
Welcome to Hot Pursuit, part of the Ahval podcast series. Now we are going to speak about a new development. The European Parliament on Wednesday called on European Union leaders to formally suspend Turkey's accession talks. It's a move of solidarity with Turkey's Democrats, as it was expressed by Turkey rapporteur Kati Piri. The vote on Wednesday, which also calls for the immediate and unconditional release of a number of prominent opposition figures, such as Selahattin Demirtas of the pro-Kurdish HDP, and expresses deep concern over violations of human rights in Turkey. The report, which was adopted by the European Parliament's Committee on Foreign Affairs on February 20, also asks the Commission to use pre-accession funds earmarked for Turkey to support Turkish civil society, but leaves the door open for the upgrading of the 1995 dated customs union between Turkey and the European Union if democratic improvements, quote unquote, take place. Joining me now, Dr. Cengiz Aktar, Ahval columnist and expert on Turkish-European Union relations. What is your take on this vote and this result, Cengiz?
Well, it's not the first time that the European Parliament is adopting such a resolution. It's a call to, as you said, to the EU leaders, because the member states are capable of, putting an end or suspending the accession negotiations with the candidate countries. So it's not the first time, but it's probably the last time that this legislature is adopting something of the kind regarding Turkey, because in 2 months, 2 months and a half, there will be elections, and this parliament will go. It will be replaced by another one. The report as such says many things, many things that we know that we don't know really. I mean, it's repeating
old concerns.
What every single Turkish citizen knows by heart. I mean, all these human rights violations and so it's a quite complete report, actually. I mean, they even talk about violence against women. It's the first time that they're talking that way. I mean, fine, but I mean, what is next? I think this should be the question. But first of all, this is a call to the member states, to the politicians, to go ahead and suspend the negotiation. Of course, it won't happen. I mean, because the parliament has no, it's not within the terms of reference of the parliament to stop or start the negotiations with the candidate country. Of course, they vote, but I mean, it's not the final decision-making body. So it's just a proposal. It's not, and I repeat, it's not the first time. So what will be the reaction of the member states? Well, I mean, the member states won't dare to go ahead and suspend the negotiations for a number of reasons that I thoroughly explained in my last Ahval paper. I mean, I want to repeat them, but there is one fantastic dilemma that exists throughout these reports, be it the Commission reports or the Parliament's reports. As long as Turkey is considered as a negotiating candidate country, I repeat and I underline, negotiating candidate country. This is a very specific status. Thanks to this status, these very candidates, be it Turkey or any other candidate country, for instance, Montenegro today, is allowed to receive very cheap credit and loans from not only European institutions like the European Investment Bank, but also from extra-European institutions like World Bank, etc. So this is the real issue. I mean, as long as Turkey is considered for a number of very aristocratic and noble reasons to help the Turkish civil society, blah, blah, it's still considered as a negotiating country on the paper, because the council, the member states, won't dare to stop the negotiation, neither stop them nor to suspend them. So as long as this status continues, Turkish government, Turkish regime will continue to receive or to tap international funds, international credit facilities very easily. And
well, what's wrong with that?
These credit lines, the loans coming from European Investment Bank, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, the Councils of Europe's Development Bank, national development agencies like the French Agence Française du Développement or the German KfW, but also World Bank and all other international financial institutions continue to pay for big infrastructural projects. And these projects are actually the silver bullets of the Turkish regime. I mean, they are using this money to, for big infrastructural projects that we all know, all these bridges that no one uses, the airport, the tunnels here and there, the factories like fossil fuel using factories which are totally environmental friendly. But I mean, that creates a sense of economic activity, not to mention the employment, of course, and it helps and the regime, it buttresses the regime, and it actually prolongs the lifetime of the Turkish regime, which we all know is a totalitarian venture. So Europeans still don't touch this very, very sensitive issue. Some of them don't want to talk about it because they are very happy with the money they are making out of Turkey. It's not just credit lines, but also European companies, some 22,000 who are working and making money in Turkey. But also many of them with full of naive, noble intentions, think that if they continue to keep Turkey as a candidate country, they will have an influence one day on this totalitarian regime. Of course, it's no avail. I mean, nothing of the kind will happen. So at the end of the day, everybody is happy. I mean, the European Parliament tonight gives the impression that it's talking tough vis-a-vis the government. Now on Friday, the 15th, the several decades old technical setup called Association Council will gather after 4 years to talk nonsense. And there, the Romanian presidency is very keen on bringing up the issue of the human rights. Of course, no one cares on the other side of the table. So Europeans are very happy to give themselves, actually, the impression that they are talking tough to Turkey. And Turkey and the Ankara regime is also pretending to reject all these European Parliament reports or any other negative declarations coming from any of the European institutions.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, both sides are very happy because business continues.
Dr. Cengiz Aktar, thank you very much for this conversation. Our subject was the vote today at the European Parliament about the suspension of negotiation accession process with Turkey, sort of a recommendation for the Commission. We will continue to cover and follow this story. Thank you.
Yep.